here in the George Mason University Patriot Center, where more than 8,000 have come to see the world's very best gymnasts. Hello again, everyone. I'm John Tesh, and welcome to Fairfax, Virginia, for the most prestigious international gymnastic event that's held here in America, the American Cup. What we're going to be seeing today is some of the young stars, some youngsters who weren't even old enough to compete in the 1984 Olympic Games, and some of the oldsters who are trying to hang on so they can reach Seoul in 1988 for the Olympics there. Working with me is our expert, of course, Bart Connor, who retired in '84 Olympic champion. Bart, what we've been seeing over the last year or so is an escalation in the events that almost appears to be dangerous.
Isn't that the truth? I mean, we're seeing a level of difficulty that these gymnasts are expected to do. I mean, triple flips and double twisting double flips. It's getting pretty hairy, but one of the most interesting areas in our sport now is the originality. Everybody's trying to come up with completely new tricks to get those valuable originality points. So we're going to see a lot of good gymnastics.
One of the men who's been pushing the difficulty factor in gymnastics is one of the holdovers from the '84 Olympic team who was pointing to '88. But we won't be seeing Tim Daggett today defend his title here. Daggett, the Olympic gold medalist, was preparing for the vault and showed he was in a lot of pain because of an injured right ankle. Tim tried his best to continue, but the pain proved to be too much. And after a discussion with his coach, Daggett pulled out of the competition here at the American Cup. Now, his problems first became really evident to us when he finished with this dismount on the rings, and watch his face very closely. And Daggett was in pain there. Before the rings was the floor exercise.
You know, Tim is an outstanding gymnast, and he got off to a rough start in floor exercise, which was going to be his toughest event. Right at the beginning, he did the layout double back at the beginning of the exercise, and I know he really munched his ankles when he landed. So he stung him to the point where as he got to vaulting later in the competition, he could not go, he couldn't even run, let alone go ahead and vault.
Now, to this point, the men have completed 4 rotations of 6. Floor exercise, pommel horse, rings, and vault. That leaves the parallel bars and the very exciting and dangerous high bar to come. After those 4 rotations, Ginsberg is in first place. DeConky, Wong, and Barbieri from France. So with Tim Daggett out of the competition with that injury, the American flag has now been passed from him to 19-year-old Brian Ginsberg, and with it all the pressure that will be on this youngster in his first major international competition. The women have completed the vault and the uneven parallel bars. Still to come for them, the balance beam and the floor exercise. The standings for the women after 2, and KRISTIE Phillips, the American, in second place to IRINA BARAKSANOVA from the Soviet Union.
Second vault.
KRISTIE Phillips' first vault put her in first place after the first rotation, and it looked like this. Phillips again with that classic, powerful Mary Lou Retton style.
Incredible. That's a round-off onto the board, a back handspring onto the horse, and a laid-out, a tuck twisting, full twisting backflip off the horse. Very difficult vault, and she handled it perfectly.
It was the uneven parallel bars, though, that cost Phillips her first-place position. She had a disappointing 9.450, and here's a look at that. Watch closely as she will lose her momentum and hit her left leg on the bar. But she still stayed in second place.
Yeah, isn't that amazing? Look at that smile. She is such a personality. Now, she's a very good gymnast. She has good technique. She doesn't have the quite explosive skills that Mary Lou did. She's very sharp.
Okay, this is live now. Let's listen in. Here's Bella.
Down, nicely up. Make sure, you know, those 2 things has shown. Finishing on the side plate. And extremely hard at the end. Not somehow taken too early. Blue stands over there at the end. Bang! Poof!
Now here's IRINA BARAKSANOVA, who is our leader, going into the balance beam competition. Here is her balance beam competition. 16 years old.
BARAKSANOVA had a very disastrous day yesterday, as a matter of fact. She fell off the bars, and she fell off the beam once and grabbed the beam another time. Had a terrible day.
Here's a look at yesterday's performance while she was qualifying for today's final.
Here's a back handspring to a layout, chest roll down, and look at, she's completely off the beam.
4'7", 77 pounds, and she is our leader.
There's a back handspring on, a little bit wobbly. You have to know that she's got in the back of her mind, here it comes, the skill she missed on yesterday. Back handspring. Ooh, pretty rough. She was able to stay on, which will be less of a deduction than if she completely fell off. But that has to be a few tenths for being that much out of line. Another wobble on an aerial walkover. She doesn't seem as aggressive here as she has been in the past. She's a great performer, though. Notice the tremendous extension. Look at the beautiful split leap. Very elegant performer. Two back handsprings to a layout. That's one of the more difficult tumbling passes you can do.
That beam is 4 feet high and only 4 inches wide.
The beautiful split handstand. Now watch this. A reverse flange. Look at the tremendous back flexibility.
It's said that Baraksanova has the elegance of Ludmila Teresheva and the bouncing style of Olga Korbut. Ludmila Teresheva, of course, 1972 Olympic gold medalist. And she has that classic Soviet look, doesn't she?
Without a doubt, she's very elegant for being so young. Round off, double back. Okay, one little step. She's got quite a few bobbles in that exercise. It won't score that high, so it's going to open the door for KRISTIE Phillips.
So trying to stay in first place is IRINA Baraksanova, who was in first place going into this rotation. Just ahead of KRISTIE Phillips, and here's the replay.
Here's her dismount. Round off onto the end. Good reach. A little cowboy, but a very high landing. Good double backflip.
This young lady achieved prominence in the 1985 World Championships in Montreal when, you may remember, she was pulled out of the competition. They said that she had an injury, the Soviets said, and that allowed the 3rd and 4th place Soviets to go on to the finals and eventually win. There was a lot of controversy surrounding that.
Well, a lot of people weren't quite sure that she really had an injury, but she mentioned to us that she really did have a problem with her shoulder, and it would have been really tough to have been pulled out of the competition when you were 4th in the running.
She's never been to the United States. When we spoke to her 2 days ago, we spent about an hour with her, and I think we caught about 2 sentences. She's painfully shy. So again, Baraksanova waiting for her score on the balance beam, which will come from 6 judges. High and low will be thrown out, and the average will be coming up here, and that's a 9.40.
Now we move to parallel bars. And
her total, 28.863. So since she was the first in this rotation, she is still our leader. Still to come will be KRISTIE Phillips from the United States. We're alternating men and women here with 2 rotations left. And this is Ulf Hoffmann from East Germany.
He's had a very good competition so far in the first 4 pieces of apparatus. But these, I think, are 2 of his best. The parallel bars and the high bar, the 2 we're about to see. Front uprise. The move called a Healy twirl to a front 1 1/4. Very nice combination of originality. Another Healy twirl. Gymnastics has its own language, as you can tell. Stutz. Double back.
Whoops.
Okay, 1 step on the landing, but a pretty good exercise. That'll keep him in the running.
Well, he was 5th coming into this rotation, so he'll have to move up if he's going to get close to first place. Again, Brian Ginsberg, who you'll see later on this same apparatus, is our leader going into this rotation. We're waiting for the score. Let's look at the replay.
There's the Stutz before the end of the exercise. You can't wobble too much up there. A nice double back. A little bit low, but not bad.
Again, it gives you a chance to show
Ulf Hoffmann, born in Neustrelitz, halfway between Berlin and the Baltic Sea. On the other side of the floor is KRISTIE Phillips, the youngest American ever to compete in this championship. She'll be up on the beam, the apparatus we just saw Baraksanova compete on. She is excellent on this piece of apparatus, and she has a chance to take the lead. So she'll wait, as Hoffmann will wait for his score, a 9.70. So he'll be our men's leader.